Hi everyone, it's Mitch. It's Monday, January 5th. College football tonight. It's Monday Night Football. We got Ohio State taking on Texas in the Fiesta Bowl. Two classic programs in a not so classic game, but the Fiesta Bowl is the last of the big BCS bowls. Not of the season, but it's the last one to really join the party. When I was younger, the Fiesta Bowl wasn't as big of a game as some of the other more traditional BCS games, and they kind of edged their way in there, and they became a big bowl very fast, and now they're part of the BCS, and now they're hosting Ohio State, Texas on the 5th of January. Who would have thunk this? Especially when Ohio State earlier in the season was getting shellacked by USC on the road. Ohio State entered this season with huge expectations. A lot of people thought that this was Ohio State's year. This was the year they had built for. This is a senior-laden team. They had a senior quarterback at the time. They had, James Laurinaitis, seen as one of the best linebackers in the game, and USC ran all over them. The other side of the ball, Texas. Weird thing happened this season. Low expectations for Texas. Yeah, they were ranked in the top 25, and then, in the top 10, they were in the bottom half of the top 10 most of the season. Not a lot of talk about Texas. If anything, it was so weird because they were almost underrated all season long. All of a sudden, Colt McCoy, the guy who couldn't complete a pass last year, who couldn't, do anything right, seemed to be, part of the problem at Texas. The guy couldn't miss. He was, completing strings of passes, 18, 20 in a row. Ridiculous numbers, 32 of 34. Was it short passes? Was it working within Colt's capabilities? Some of it. But, he threw the ball down the field as well, and he just had a great season. Definitely worthy of that Heisman nomination. He didn't get it, and if he would have won the Heisman, well, then, he certainly would have deserved it. They beat Oklahoma in the Red River Shootout. They're not going to the national championship game. They have the same record as Oklahoma. Something's not necessarily right with the system. The system never seems to work, but the system doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. So this is where Texas finds himself. So where do we go with tonight's game? I think that Ohio State is kind of, they've lost the last two BCS games, and they haven't really been too competitive in them. Texas, on the other hand, the Big 12 is kind of down this year in the bowls. But the one thing you really have to look at here is that when you look at historically, the Big 12 hasn't been good in bowls. Oklahoma's, they've lost in bowls the last 5 years. The Big 10, they're good one year, bad one year, good one year, bad one year, it seems, when it comes to the bowls. I mean, last year at this time, Michigan was knocking off Florida in the Citrus Bowl. Who would have thought that that was going to happen? But in any event, Texas is one of those teams that through no matter what has gone on, with their conference in the bowl games, Texas has still been extremely good in the bowl games. Earlier this season, I wrote an article about the Big 12 and about, what exactly are they made of, since, every year they beat up on each other, they put up these huge scores, and then they get to the bowls and they don't do anything. The one thing that I found in writing that article is Texas doesn't fit that mold of the rest of the Big 12 teams, and I like Texas in this game, and I like them to win pretty good and pretty much effortlessly. They beat these two teams have played each other fairly recently, and they were both competitive games. One going one way, one going the other way. The road team winning both times. Well, this is a road game, neutral site game for both teams, and those games have been nice to Ohio State lately. For those of you who have watched the national championship game in the last few years. So in any event, we're on Texas, and we like them laying the 8 points. I know the spread is dropping. I'm not 100% sure why. I think it might have something to do with the way the Big 12 has been performing in the bowls. But in any event, this is Mitch. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in the chat room. I'll see you in the forum.